So today's video, I want to go over pretty much why Gen Z doesn't want normal jobs. And the fact of the matter is, if you're watching this video, you're probably like me where you don't want to work a 9 to 5. You're sick and tired of that lifestyle. You're sick and tired of people telling you, "Oh, just get a job already." And if you're not in school like me, you're sick and tired of having to go to school and all that. You're sick and tired of just working in general all the time for somebody who doesn't really care and you're just a number to them. If you feel that way, I want you to just continue to listen to the video. I would just put it in the background while you're driving or while you're playing a video game. Just the disclaimer. Gen Z doesn't want jobs. What's the reasoning for this? Well, we've gone through the 2008 housing crisis. We've seen all these types of things throughout history and it's harder than ever right now just to get a job. Like I've literally applied to so many places and I do have a job right now, but it's just unbelievably hard to find another job to escape the one that I'm currently at. And if you could relate to that, it makes you feel like, dude, what's the point of all of this stuff? Like, why am I trying so hard to find a job to work for someone who's literally going to basically dictate my entire life? When I could take vacations, when I could see my family, all of this sort of stuff. A lot of people say if you're working for someone else, you're making their dreams come true. How is that fulfilling? I genuinely don't think that being on this planet to work for someone else or all of this stuff in general is very fulfilling. And I think each and every one of you who are watching this video see a different purpose in your life. You see a life that you could possibly be living outside of all of this normality. Like, and I think a lot of Gen Z resonates with that. You grew up thinking you were going to be, successful and everything like that. And when it's not coming to you quickly and it's not coming to fruition, it sucks. It makes you feel terrible. Like you feel worthless. A little bit of a personal experience I have. I feel the same way. I currently work two jobs and it's barely enough to get by. I work two jobs, like 40 hours a week, basically. And still, it's still a struggle. Obviously, I still do the e-commerce on the side and everything. It's still just a struggle in general to work these two jobs and all of that stuff. It's very difficult. And on top of that, I'm $2,000 in debt. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong within life, but the most important thing that I want to say out of this video is Gen Z doesn't want to be slaves effectively. If you have a job to a degree, it just makes you feel like a slave. I'm just going to be honest. You go in and you're working for other people and you have what, 2 days of rest if it's full time, and congratulations. Then you're back to the other stuff. And mind you, you're doing all this just for you to barely be able to live, like majority of the jobs you don't really get paid for. And if you go to school for something, congratulations, your degree is going to be replaced by AI. So it's very harsh. It's very blackpilling, sadly, but the reality is if you're not living for yourself, you're living for someone else. And that's just the truth. It's going to be very depressing. If you're living for someone else and fulfilling their dreams, the world's going to be horrible. The world's just going to feel terrible. So that's why entrepreneurship has been such a key thing in my life. I feel like I've always wanted to be my own boss. Even when I first started working my first job at around 16 years old, I said to myself, I was like, dude, I can't imagine doing this. Like, if I'm coming into work and there'd be times my family goes on vacation and I can't go with them just because I'm stuck working at some dead end job. Most people don't like their life being dictated. Let's just be honest. If you're like me, you don't like that. And I think that's pretty reasonable. I think it's reasonable to, no matter what, pursue your dreams and take the risk while you still can, because we live in a world where there's not always opportunity. There's different obstacles that can happen in your life. A lot of old people can't really understand is that we don't want to work ourselves into the grave. We're not trying to do that. It's you always hear this excuse from older people like, "Oh, just work harder. When I was your age, I used to work this much and all that, and I used to handle all these bills by myself." But bro, look at what's happening to us right now, bro. We literally have wars going on that are increasing the gas prices, the prices of food. We're talking about bullshit that we didn't even sign up for. We just spawned in and all this bullshit happened. And yeah, I'm gonna sound a little bratty or whatever because you can compare it to previous decades and all that and be like, "Oh, well, at least we're not drafted to wars and all that." But dude, the fact of the matter is that a lot of these older people, this is going to sound controversial, but you had it easier. You genuinely had it easier. And you can hate on that all you want, but it's a fact. There's a lot of expectation nowadays, man. And there are old people that admit it, but there's a lot of stuck up people who just don't think that that's the case. And that's fine. They live in a false reality. They don't live in the real world. If they were to work the jobs or just deal with what we're going through right now, I guarantee you they will feel the same way. So that's a big part of why Gen Z doesn't want to deal with it, man. We're sick and tired of this nonsense of oh, just get a 9 to 5, work the rest of your life away. Bro, I think what people don't understand is there's options at the end of the day, and there is no set in stone way to live your life. So do what you want to do, man. I'm tired of people trying to act all right and stuff and uppity talking about, oh, yeah, I did this and it worked out for me. Bro, people have different lives. People have different life paths, and not everyone should follow the same life path. And I think we have to, you know, agree to disagree on certain things and follow our own destiny. So, this is just a little rant. This is my first video ever on this channel. It's annoying, man. It's genuinely annoying because I feel for you guys out there. I'm one of you guys, even no matter how successful I've been with e-commerce and everything, because I have had, you know, really good days of revenue and I do know the business model and I continue to do it, but it's like despite that, I know what the struggle's like because I'm going to go on a little bit of a ramble, but I run ads and ads obviously take money. So when you're running ads for e-commerce, specifically Facebook ads, they're pretty expensive. I see you need at least $3,000 a month to run Facebook ads if you want to be comfortable. And right now I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm only making around 3,600-ish a month. So it's really complicated. And I run right now a subscription plan with one of my products that I'm running for e-commerce, and yes, I'm getting income from it, but the problem is to continue with all of this, it's just to continue with all of it and be able to actually run my business, I basically have to throw away all my money. And yeah, sure, that's the risk of an entrepreneur, but I digress. There's a lot of things that Gen Z has hard, and I think we shouldn't really feel bad for ourselves, but I think you shouldn't be tormented for trying to pursue your dreams. You shouldn't have to fall into place just because it's the right thing. There is no right way to live your life. And I'm going to end that off here. Take care, my friends.